Hey everybody, it's Mark again. I hope everybody's enjoying my videos. I thank all of you for making comments. Um, I try to answer all the comments as soon as I can. But today we're going to be working on a clock. I bought 2 clocks off of a site. I paid, to include shipping, $56.88 for these 2 clocks. One clock, it's got a special kind of movement in it. I've seen one of these movements. I've touched one of these movements when I was at my friend's house, but we never got the chance to work on the movement. And so I wanted the clock. So even though I have plenty of clocks, as you can see, just in my bedroom alone, I have plenty of clocks. I try to bid just on clocks that I don't have, just for these YouTube videos, because I try to help people out. And that's why I created this YouTube channel, is to help people out. So please keep on leaving me comments, give me a thumbs up, and tell your friends about my channel and have them to subscribe to my channel. So anyway, let's learn things today. So kick back, relax, grab something to eat, grab something to drink, grab a cigarette if you choose to do so. And by the way, I still haven't had a cigarette since the 27th of May. I gained 50 pounds in that time frame, so I'm trying to lose weight. But that's a different video. So let's get started. This is the box that the 2 clocks came in. When I shake the box, I hear noise. I don't like that noise, but I need to take some pictures, and I never did. If when you receive a box, you need to shake it. If you hear noise, you need to take pictures in case you have to make a claim. So I took my pictures, and now it's time to open up this box. Here I see a pendulum that was not wrapped. I see a topper that was not wrapped. So far, they're in good shape. Here's another pendulum that was not wrapped. Remember, there's 2 clocks. Here's a part of a clock. It might be, sorry. It's part of this topper. It's broken. That could be repaired. I will not make a claim for something as minute as that. Some weights. 2 weights. A washer that fell on the floor. This setup was another weight for one of the clocks. They got a crap load of washers. So now I have a crap load of washers. It's I've never seen a pendulum like this before. Maybe, a weight like this before. Maybe somebody made this weight. I think I heard a bellow. The deer copper. This is a clock that I wanted, and we will talk about this clock after I get through unwrapping all the other stuff. This is a cool clock. It's got metal hands on it. The birds are going to move as it ticks, I believe. Maybe as it cuckoos. We'll have to look. The birds will move as it cuckoos. It has an AWS movement in it, and there's a bunch of work that needs to be done. The toppers for the pendulums need to replace. The movement is extremely oily. Maybe you could see that, but we'll set that to the side and see what else we got in this box. I think just packing material. Okay, it's only a slight bit of damage to the to that one topper. This is the reason I bid on those clocks. And for $56.88, you know, that's around $28 a piece for each clock that is shipped to my door. That is cheap. Let me show you the movement, and this is why you'll see why I wanted this clock. The movement is extremely small and unusual for me. The rack is right here. Different type of movement. The bellows are not connected, but see what happens when I pull on the chain. It's missing a back door, which sucks. When I pull on the time chain, the pendulum leader wire starts ticking away. When I rotate the hands, it cuckoos, it gongs. This wire here is not moving. That's why again, it's not connected to the bellows, but I want to see if it moves. It moves. So I wish I had the back door, I'm going to have to come up with a back door and a gong port. But I think it's a pretty cool little clock. So let's start taking it apart. As you can see, I have a towel laid down on my table. That towel keeps the parts from bouncing all over the place. And it helps you see, because I have a white towel, you see the parts. I've got a container to put my parts in. Time to take off the hands. You have a nut. You have another nut. That holds the minute hand on, and that's just a regular, like a movement nut. The minute hand has got a square hole. The hour hand, friction fit on, and I need to release the bird from the door. And that's just a matter of bending the wire to release the bird from the door. Preferably bend it at a 90-degree angle. Or close to it, so you can release the bird from the door. Now I have to take off the chains and unwrap all this mess. So I'll come back when I got the chains removed. And the chains in this clock is simple. I love it. You just bend the wire that holds the weight, and it releases the chain, and then you should be able to pull the chain. Well, that's the wrong way. I gotta go to the other end. Actually, I don't think the ratcheting system is working. Yeah, the ratcheting system isn't working. I'm going to have to figure that out. The bellows are glued in, so I'm going to have to get those out. JustMike has got a video out, and I'll leave JustMike's channel in this YouTube video. I need to take these wires off. The longer wire, which I assume will be for this bellow, goes on the bottom section. But I need to take these wires off so I can disconnect them from the high note and low note levers so they're not in my way. And I'm going to disconnect the pendulum leader wire. And then I'm going to have to set this thing up and put a weight on it so I can get the hook off the chain. So just let it tick away just like that, so I can get the hook off the chain. So we'll come back. There I have it temporarily set up on my stand with the weight on to allow the crutch assembly to tick away like that. So it will drop the chain so I could disconnect the wire. Now with this particular clock, the base is mounted to this board, and you can loosen up that board, but that's what the movement is mounted to. But this base is not only nailed in, but it's also glued in, and my friend Ron disassembles all the stuff all the time to clean it. The topper is also glued on, and so using JustMike's technique to take the glue toppers off, you take a sharpened putty knife and you put it in there, and then you just start pounding on it, pushing on it, whatever, and eventually the bellow will pop off, just like this one did. And so I'm going to take a pen and put R on this bellow. That way I know it goes on the right side. And this bellow on the right side is also what lifts the cuckoo bird's tail up and down, as you can see with that wire. Typically, it's the bellow on the left side. And that sounds like the high note lever. But anyway, to remove this bellow, hopefully I could do this on camera without saying a few cuss words. The reason why you'd want to use a putty knife versus an X-Acto knife, a utility knife, is a putty knife is flexible, so you'll have to sharpen up your putty knife. This putty knife came with my 3D printer. We're almost there. Why they glue these things in versus putting screws and nails in, I have no idea. But I guarantee you, when it goes back in, it will have a screw in it. This particular bellow is shaped like an L, so it's glued in even further. And that's why, there we go. Came off. Low note and high note. High note is on the side, right side. Low note is on the left side. I didn't have to put the R on because I didn't notice it had this L shape. L for low, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, now I could take these tiny screws out to get the movement out. There's 4 screws. And the ratchet wheel is working. And this particular clock, normal cuckoo clocks, the time side would be these 2 holes, and the strike side would be these two holes. But in this case, time and strike. Time and strike. So I'm going to take those 4 screws out and we'll be back. The cuckoo stays in the clock. Well, the way it's attached is this metal piece here. And as you can see, it's a partial cuckoo. It's got a long rod for its tail, but it is attached to this metal bracket, and that metal bracket has 2 staples on it. A staple here and a staple here to keep that thing inside. Now, this bracket, the left side of the bracket, is bent at a 90 degrees toward the rear of the movement. Looking at the movement itself, I've never worked on one of these. It's got this wire here, and I wonder if that wire has to do with this bracket on this cuckoo mount. Again, I never worked on one of these things before. I could take it apart and I might not ever get it back together. There's some initials right here on it. I need to put on my set of eyes so I can see what it says. I want to say it says DRGM, but I'm going to look at it in my magnifying glass. Hopefully y'all can see me do that. It says DBGM. D as in dog, B as in boy, G as in golf, M as in Mike. I'm going to have to ask my Black Forest Group expert about those. Because DRGM is a cheap patent code. I don't know what DBGM is. And this is a triple plate movement. This plate section right here is for the time. This section right here is for the strike. As you can see, the third wheel warning lever and the governor ply is moving when I move the great wheel. So this top section is for the strike, and this bottom section is for the time. And that is why the movement goes in like this. These 2 holes here are for the time. These 2 holes here is for the strike. And as you can see, it's extremely oily and dirty. This lever here, which is part of what would be known as the rack, is connected all the way to the back, which is the rack assembly. And I'm trying to make it function, but this high note lift lever is stopping everything from working. Because it's down too far. There we go. I'm going to trip the rack again and make it work. Try to make it work. There we go. It was in warning. For some reason, when I trip the rack manually, it goes into warning. That's when the third wheel warning pin is hitting the tab to prevent it from striking. But it's working. Now to figure out what I want to do. I'm pretty sure that you have to take it off in stages. So you'd have to take the strike side off, and then you'd loosen these to take the plate away to take the time side off. But the first step is to remove the gong wire. The gong wire goes through this hole right here. So I need to remove the gong. So I have to remove the wire. And that's not the first step. I don't want to make this video extremely long, but I want to be able to show y'all what I'm doing. So let's go with what I normally do with any other cuckoo clock, and we'll take the snail off. And I have to get this wire out of the minute wheel with minute pinion so I could remove the washer to remove the snail. And I'm going to have to do it without this camera in front of me. Moving the snail to the position where it is, you got more room to remove that wire and washer, and that's what I did. Now I can remove the snail, which has the 2 pins on it for the hour and the strike. Remove the minute wheel with minute pinion, which also has a pin on it. And that pin, and it's got the spring also, which faces down. I'm trying to figure out where that pin is for. That pin moves this wire. This pin moves this wire, which pushes this down. And that's what releases the snail. In order to get the rack off, I have to remove this pin. And that's going to be fun. I think it has threads on it. It does. There's threads on it, and you loosen it, and it comes right off. So now the rack's off. There's this lever here that is held into place by this tapered pin. This taper pin here. So I'm going to have to take that taper pin out in order to remove this lever. And to put this thing back together, I'm going to have to watch this video because I'm explaining in the video what I'm doing. But this lever catches this lever here. And it's all part of the strike. It's off. Now what? Can't remove the gong because of this lever. can't remove this lever because of this lever and this wire. So I think I have to undo these nuts and go from there. And then this wheel here is going to have to be removed. The plate won't be able to come off unless I take that wheel off. And this part here can stay where it's at. But I'm going to have to remove this center wheel right here, which is pressed on. And I use two tools to take pressed on fittings like that off. One is this tool, and the reason why it works is because of the angle. You're not cutting, you're allowing the angle to get underneath it and push it up. Most of the time this is too thick, so I use this tool. Again, the angle of it gets underneath, and as you squeeze, it pulls that piece off. So I'm going to try to do that on camera to show you guys that it works. The problem is there's not enough gap in that for this tool to go underneath. There we go. I pushed the wheel up, which gave me enough gap. I didn't cut nothing. It just lifts it up. Did it on camera. It works. So now, my next step, I believe, is to take these nuts off. And this is extremely weird the way they got this set up. This section right here is held into place by this nut. Getting out my son's gift to me to find a nut that will fit on these nuts. Not that one. To find a socket, sorry. This one right here fits. Comes with this handy dandy little holder for it that extends if you need it extended, and it's magnetic, which helps out a lot. As you can see, it's magnetic. So when you're putting screws into a case, it helps you out. Again, this wire assembly goes on this post. Don't want to come off. I'm going to use my dikes to lift it off. Again, the dikes aren't cutting. It's just the way they're designed. They're lifting the item off. This was just a trial and error thing that I used on something I forget, but it works. Again, sorry for a long video, but together we are learning how to take this movement apart. This is the first time that I took one of these movements apart. I'm going to go ahead and take the crutch assembly out. And it's not going to allow me to take it apart because of this lever right here. So now I have to figure out how to get this lever right here out of the way. See, it doesn't want to come off because of this lever. So let me study that. Once you take this lever, there's a spring that goes on there first. But once you take this lever off, you can move this lever and push it down. So now I could take the plates off, but I have all these levers so now I see it's off. Might not be the way it's supposed to come off, but it's off. And now I'm going to put it back together so we can take a picture of how this part goes. I got it back, the wheels themselves back together. Great wheel, second wheel, third wheel with warning pin, ply. How the third wheel with warning pin is supposed to be set up, I have no idea. And the second wheel's got this cam on it that a lever is going to have to go into when the clock is done cuckooing. But now we are on to the strike side of the clock. In order to get this lever out, the strike side of the clock is coming apart. But in order to get this lever out, I have to take this pin out in order for it to come down. So let me see if I could do that. No, and all my parts are falling all over the place, so let me see if I could just take this plate off without taking that part off. I should be able to. There we go. You got the great wheel. The second wheel is extremely filthy. Second wheel and then the escapement wheel. What does that tell you? If you watched all my videos, what does that tell you? Great wheel, second wheel, escapement wheel. What does that tell you? Tells you that this is a 30-hour clock. It's not an 8-day clock. It's just a 1-day clock, a 30-hour clock. Ratcheting on the great wheel on this one is fine. Ratchet system on this one is fine. So now it's time to put all these parts in my cleaner and cleaning them up. I hope y'all are liking this video. Give me a thumbs up. Leave me some comments. And again, I apologize that it's a long video. It's the first time I've ever taken one of these movements apart. And that's the only reason I bought this set of clocks, was because of this movement. On a side note, if you drink a lot of canned drinks or whatever while you're working around your clocks, it's best to set them in a great big container. That way you don't spill them. I spilled several. I got my ultrasonic cleaner set to 30 degrees Celsius. I got this plastic container here that's got a bunch of holes in it that I will put probably this entire movement in. Maybe. Nope. But I could put most of the small parts in here and dunk it in my ultrasonic cleaner. That way I know where the parts are. That way they don't get mixed up. But, sorry, that way they don't get in the ultrasonic cleaner. They'll be in this container. You could buy containers. JustMike has got a container. There's nothing wrong with that. I just happen to have a plastic container that I use. I hope y'all enjoyed the first part of this video. Again, I'm sorry it's a long video. There's a lot to show in a YouTube video to people who want to learn about repairing clocks, and I try to show you everything that there is possibly in repairing a clock or servicing a clock or taking a clock apart or putting one together. And this movement is brand new to me. I've seen them at my friend's house. I've touched a clock, but I've never taken a movement like this apart before. And that's what intrigued me about buying this cuckoo clock, because of this movement. I didn't need another clock. I didn't need another cuckoo clock, but I wanted this particular clock because of this movement, so I can make a YouTube video to help people service their clocks, to help people take a clock apart, take a movement apart, and put it back together. So there's a lot that I'm discussing, and so it could very well be a 3-part video. I don't know until I load up all this stuff. I try to keep my videos within an hour or less. I don't want to bore people. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up. Please like. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. As you can see, I am supporting Seth Lingenfelter's shirts that he designed. I love his shirts, and I will leave a link to his YouTube channel in the description of this video. I will leave a link to Torsion Dell's Derek, who's my group expert on anniversary/torsion clocks. The man goes above and beyond any clock repair. When I ask him a question, he provides me an answer. If I ask him to create a YouTube video, he does it. I started him on creating YouTube videos. He became my group expert about a year ago or so in my collections group, because he works on anniversary clocks for a living. He has clocks shipped to him, and so he is my group expert. Do I know how to work on anniversary clocks? Yes. Am I an expert at it? No. I'm not an expert at any clock repair, because there are certain things that an expert can do that I don't do. I do not have a lathe. An expert has a lathe, and they will make parts that they don't have. I have never done that. I am not an expert. Torsion Dell is an expert in anniversary clocks, so please look in the description of this video, find his channel, and please subscribe to his channel. Part 2 is going to be me putting this thing back together, and I have the movement ticking away right now. I will show it to you. Here I have the movement on a test stand, and it's been ticking away ever since I put it on that test stand. But it is back together, and in part 2, you're going to see me putting this thing back together. And you're going to find the little things that I had to do to put this 1, 2, 3 triple plate movement back together. It wasn't a simple task, but I was able to do it. And I explain everything in part 2 of this video. So please subscribe to my channel, and you'll get a notification when part 2 of this YouTube video series is posted. And leave me comments, and may God bless each and every one of you.